Good morning EDJ, welcome everyone to your favorite radio program in the French Riviera. I am Léa Dutroux, your host for your weekly Morning EDJ show. Mathieu Marinck and Nina Royer are still with me. How are you guys today?
Fine,
Good.
thank you.
We also have the chance to welcome a special guest, Nolan Perez, who's a big fan of the NBA. How are you, Nolan?
Fine, and you?
I'm very good. Today's headlines: the International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu and some of his associates, a new threat coming from Vladimir Putin to the west, and finally the world's most expensive banana was auctioned in New York for the modest sum of $6 billion. But first, Mathieu, here's a little sneak peek of today's weather.
The cold is still present over much of the country. 31 departments are still under an orange snow alert from Bretagne to the Southern Alps via the Île-de-France region. A few snow showers will persist between Normandy and the Grand Est, but they will diminish as the day goes on. Over Corsica, the wind remains strong with gusts of up to 130 kilometers per hour. Around the Mediterranean, the sky is clear despite the Mistral and the Tramontana winds in the morning. Temperatures remain wintry, 2 in Strasbourg, 4 in Paris, 10 in Bordeaux, 12 in Perpignan, and a high of 16 in Nice.
It's right now 8 a.m., your news bulletin of the week, right after the jingle. A long-awaited backlash, the preliminary chamber of the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants yesterday against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former defense minister Yoav Gallant. The warrants are for war crimes and crimes against humanity allegedly committed in the Gaza Strip. The ICC's decision theoretically limits Benjamin Netanyahu's movements, as any of the 124 member states of the court will be obliged to arrest him on their territory. An extremely serious act in Ukraine, the crazy neighbor Russia has fired a new kind of missile, a medium-range ballistic missile on Ukrainian soil, a not so peculiar way for him to live these 1,002 days of war. Zelensky, overwhelmed by the horror of the events, no longer hesitates to compare his country to a testing ground for enemy missiles. Putin, on his part, claims that the conflict has taken on a global character and once again threatens the West. He warns that Moscow does not rule out striking countries whose weapons are used in this conflict against Russia. Fatal alcohol incident in Laos. According to British and Australian media, a group of about a dozen tourists fell ill after an evening in Vang Vieng on November the 12th. At least 4 foreign tourists have died in Vang Vieng, a popular backpacker town. Methanol poisoning from adulterated alcohol is suspected. Among the victims are 2 Danes, a 19-year-old Australian and an American, according to their respective governments, which did not specify the causes of death. A historic sanction may be looming for Google. The US government has requested that the justice system order Google to divest its Chrome browser on November the 20th. The tech giant has already been reprimanded for its anti-competitive practices. In a legal document, the Department of Justice calls for a breakup of the company's activities, prohibiting Google from signing agreements with manufacturers to impose its search engine as the default on smartphones. The authorities also want to prevent Google from leveraging its mobile operating system, Android, to promote its other products. Still on the American coast, a tragedy, this time on Tuesday the 12th November. Brandon Dunham was shot dead by a police officer after calling 911 to report a violent intruder at his home in Las Vegas. The 43-year-old father had taken refuge in his home with his 15-year-old daughter, who was hiding in another room after reporting the incident to the authorities. His family is accusing the police of treating him like a criminal instead of a victim, and is calling for the dismissal of the officer involved, Alexander Brookman. And now you're not dreaming, this is yet another example of speculation in the art market, even if it's just a piece of fruit taped to a wall. The work by Italian conceptual artist Maurizio Catalan caused another sensation on Wednesday the 20th in New York when it was bought for $6.2 million by Chinese-American entrepreneur Justin Stan, the founder of the Tron cryptocurrency platform. Now to go on with the political sphere, Mathieu, please explain to us the touchy relation between France and the Republic of Azerbaijan.
France must answer for its crime. These words by Azeri President Ilham Aliyev shook COP29 in Baku in front of delegates from all around the world. He accused Emmanuel Macron of colonialism and violent repression in New Caledonia. He mentioned the 13 dead and 169 injured among the Kanaks, figures immediately contested by Paris. French response was swift, Faced with this serious accusation, the French Minister of Ecological Transition, Agnès Pannier-Runacher, cancelled her trip to COP29 in protest. These attacks are unacceptable, she declared, denouncing an attempt at a political destabilization. A heavy past resurfaces. The rivalry between Paris and Baku is not new. France is a long-standing ally of Armenia. In 2023, it strongly criticized Azerbaijan's resumption of Nagorno-Karabakh. This offensive led to the exodus of 100,000 Armenians. Conversely, Baku accuses Paris of indirectly supporting independence movement in New Caledonia. Furthermore, France denouncing the treatment of Théo Leclerc. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison. The punishment follows graffiti in the metro. His 2 foreign co-accused only received a fine. Paris denouncing diplomatic harassment. Any French national arrested is exposed to provisional detention or a ban on leaving the country, which can last several months, specified the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
And now let's dive into the NBA Cup that recently started, and especially with, let's say, a remarkable team, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Nolan.
Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about the amazing season start of the Cleveland Cavaliers and the huge NBA Cup confrontation between them and the defending champions, the Boston Celtics. Last time we saw them before this season was in May. They had lost their playoff series 4-1 against the Boston Celtics. Darius Garland was close for my departure. J.B. Bickerstaff, their former coach, was fired, and their superstar's future, Donovan Mitchell, was more than uncertain. Probably nobody was thinking that Cleveland would come back so well, but during the summer, Mitchell extended his contract, Garland stayed, and the Cavs signed Kenny Atkinson as their new head coach. Even though we have just seen a month of competition, Cleveland has impressed everybody as they won their first 14 games of the season. This is the second best season launching of all time, behind the 2015-2016 Golden State Warriors, who recorded a 24-0 start. Their major improvement this season is their offensive game. With their former coach, they never reached better than the 23rd place in the league offensive ranking. Today, they have the best offense of the league, scoring about 123 points per game. As long as the winning streak went on, people were eyeing the huge confrontation that was coming up against the recent NBA champs, the Boston Celtics. But when the C's received the Cavs on Tuesday, the former LeBron James franchise was still unbeaten, and the Boston Celtics really had a statement to make. As a consequence, they've become the first team of the season to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 120-117. The Cavs were unbelievably good at three-point shooting on this season start, and that wasn't the case in this game. It is unexplainable, as the Celtics were the third best defense of the league last season. These two teams have the best 2 averages of the league so far, 15-1 for the Cavs and 12-3 for the Celtics. That is very promising for the rest of the season and for a potential huge confrontation between them during the playoffs.
Thank you, Nolan. Now it's time for your cinema segment with Nina. Let's see what you brought us today.
A movie to melt our hearts, Netflix has kicked off its festive season with a film that combines magic and rose water to warm you up with Hot Frosty, a catch-all cast, including actors from Mean Girl and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. 2 years after losing her husband, Katie magically gives life to a handsome snowman. He turns out to be a handsome, muscular guy, a cliché really, but all the grandmothers in the neighborhood have fallen under his spell. This new man is totally naive and has to be taught everything. He sees Katie as the one who gave him life, so the two characters are linked. So they become dependent on each other. He needs Katie for her home and stability, while she loves the warmth he brings to her home. Quite paradoxal, I know. He helps the young woman to love, feel, and love again. As in every Noel film, the two fall in love step by step. But no means, watch out, Jack. What I want to talk about is the risk of falling in love with someone ephemeral. There is a parallel to be drawn with our romantic relationships, by the way. We love the references from Mean Girls to Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Cool. If you see the series, you'll know how much criminal Judy loves to fantasize about becoming a policeman, and now, magically, he's got his wish. These wings are always a pleasure. Nostalgic fans will be delighted. It's like all Christmas films, it's pleasant and comforting, even if it's not original. Hot Frosty is currently top 10 most watched film on Netflix. What are you waiting for?
Thank you, Nina. And as it is almost the end of our show, let's debate about a fact that happened somewhere in the world. And what better way to start with the Mercosur Agreement, also called the Southern Common Markets. So, who wants to start? Maybe Mathieu?
I can start, yeah. My opinion, I think signing these agreements means sacrificing our farmers. Products from South America are often cheaper because they don't meet our standards. In Europe, our farmers have to follow strict rules to protect health and the environment. Over there, that is not the case in South America. It would be unfair competition. What's more, this agreement could exacerbate deforestation in Amazonia. Forests would be destroyed just to produce more meat. And farming in France is more than job, it's a culture, a know-how, but by signing up the Mercosur agreement, we are putting all that at risk, and it's better to refuse to sign this agreement, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. Indeed, in my opinion, the Mercosur Agreement poses significant risk for the French agriculture, as you said it, and food safety also. The potential influx of South American products that do not adhere to the same stringent standards as European ones could undermine our local farming industry. And also compromise food security, as you said it too. And what free trade can bring economic benefits, it must not come at the cost of our farmers' livelihood and environmental standards. What do you think, Nina?
I agree with you all, but if you look at it from the perspective of the world, France, thanks to this agreement, French companies can access new markets, and the Mercosur will strengthen exports thanks to reduce custom tariff. And we need now that Trump has been re-elected, because he is very protectionist and he will put a lot of taxes on our products. So it's good if we are opening to these new markets. It can be beneficial for France. I'm thinking about the export of luxury products, cheese and wines, that are the strategic sectors of France.
And Nolan, what's your point of view?
I agree with what was said before me. From an international standpoint, I would say that the agreement is good on both sides because it would help South America to develop themselves, and the country is part of the Mercosur, and it would help Europe because of everything we could export thanks to the agreement. And it's not just about France, it's about Germany, who could export cars, for example, or Spanish, who could export many of other merchandise. So that would be good, but yeah, I have to remember that a lot of countries in Europe do not agree with it or hesitate about it. France, Poland, and Austria strongly disagree with it, and there are many countries, in my opinion, that do not really know what they want to do. We can talk about Netherlands, Belgium, Greece. These countries having a really strong position. That could be really boring for the agreement, but yeah, again, that would be good on both sides.
All right. Well, as you said, on the economy part of the agreement, for sure it's a good thing, I guess, for everyone. But is this really the food security that I'm talking about? Because how do you manage this? How do you control the food that we are sharing to each other? Because, but Nina, I see that you make a weird face, but it includes that we create new kind of security stuff, or I don't know, but just specialized to this, food transfer. What do you think?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
And maybe Mathieu?
Yep.
What is most important for you, the food security or just the economical side of
I think the
globalization?
security and for the health and the environment is more important than the economic, because we have norms in France or in Europe, and they are much I don't know, complicated, but it's complicated to protect. I think you need to protect health in Europe much than in in Southern America, because I think norms are, like I said, our standards, it's strict rules, and I don't think in Southern America they don't have the same rules, and they see this partnership as some money and to develop themselves. And I think, first of all, we need to respect the rules.
If I can say something, anyway, meat is not good for our health, so we have to reduce it. Maybe we can project to buy these meats, but our economy can grow. It can be a compromise.
It's your vegetarian side that's talking today. Okay, and what do you think, Nolan, is the most important nowadays with all that we see, the war everywhere and all, like economic or food security? What do you think?
Of course, I think that security is more important than economy. Seaside merchandise is something that is really emerging, with USA and China really battering on this field. So I think that the security of the seaside merchandises will really improve over the years. I think it's just a matter of time. I don't know when the agreement would really have an impact on both economy, but yeah, I think that security will improve.
Okay, and here we are. This is the end of your Good Morning EDJ show. Thank you, Mathieu. Thank you, Nina. And thank you, Nolan. It was a pleasure to have you here today, and thanks for listening to us. Stay tuned and very safe till the next episode next week. See you soon, et bonne journée.